And there was just opposite. That was really good. That was really good.
Hi. Sit. Happy New Year.
So business. That's true.
Oh, really? Sorry about shaving my eye. Hey guys. She food dressing me. I'd like a latte. I'll ask him for a latte.
We'll begin our service on page 643. With Esa Enai. We'll sing together. Esa Shabbat Shalom. My name is Scott Goldberg. I'm the rabbi here at Temple Or Hadash, and I'm so excited and grateful to be leading alongside our editorial soloist, Natalie Fields. I want to welcome each and every one of you to tonight's service, whether you are here sitting in our space or whether you are watching via live stream. My grandmothers and among other family members are watching, so I wanted to give them a shout out. Also, I brought some guests. My mom and dad are sitting in the back. So be sure to say hi.
Scott, fix your ties so Grandma.
That's right. So here we are. It's the first Shabbat of 2019. What is Shabbat and why do we gather during it? Shabbat, it's that Hebrew root, shin bet tav, that means to sit or to dwell. Shabbat is a time to put the past week into a box and close up that box and put it aside for just those 25 hours. 20th century rabbi and theologian Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel famously termed Shabbat a palace in time and a kingdom for all. It is not a date, but an atmosphere. Tonight, let's make time to dwell in this palace in time, making our first Shabbat in the year 2019 an atmosphere of soul, of joy, and of tranquility, setting the stage for Shabbats in this year to come. For the Shabbat candles this evening, I would like to invite up our Oneg hosts, Marcy Silverstein and Scott and Heather Rosenberg, and Isaac and Lillian and Ruthie. And we'll turn to page 120 for the lighting of the candles.
If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. No, they're just not making wicks like they used to. They're getting cheap on the wicks.
Lighting with the other candles.
This is good.
No, I think,
No, they're in there, Bowles. Leave
I
it.
think you need to,
It's hot.
Just lean it over with the lit one.
yeah, you need to.
No, they're glued in there with
Oh.
wax.
Third time's the charm.
Let's not dilly-dally.
We can do it.
I just have to say something, so Carol Tuttle can get really mad at me. I told her I was doing this tonight in her honor for all she does for the community. And she said, no, you can't do that, so I'm doing it anyhow.
Page 120.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'rabanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you. On page 127, we'll read together to welcome Shabbat. At the top of the page, there are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure from what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire but to share. There are the days which we exploit nature as if it were a hoard of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we care nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We'll turn to page 129 for Dodi Lee, and we'll sing together. Dodi Lee. Dodi Lee. My beloved is mine, and I am my beloved. Shabbat is a time to love one another and gather near. We'll continue with L'cha Dodi on page 138. I wanted to teach a new tune. And I know you guys can do it. We're just going to start with Yadadais. So repeat after me. Yadadai. There we go. Yadadai. Yadai, and 9 together, and at verse 9 we'll rise. So listen to this first verse. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad V'shemo tiferet v'liti l'chadi V'chadodi likrat kala V'nei Shabbat v'kavela Please be seated. Please take the next 20 to 30 or so seconds to wish Shabbat Shalom to a neighbor, a friend, someone you do not know.
I know everybody here. We know everybody here.
We'll continue on page 142, welcoming the Shabbat angels. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShaarei, Malachei Elyon, V'Melech, Malachei HaMachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Kaddish, the Kaddish, is one of the most beautiful, significant, and spiritually moving prayers in Jewish liturgy. Its ancient prose flutters off the tongue, calling and responding, words that cast sheer hypnotic power of the listeners. Its response, Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, dates back to the destruction of the first temple nearly 2,500 years ago. And its primary usage is of transition. To move from one section of prayer to another section of prayer. To move from one section of life to another section of life. It moves from one section to another and it allows people to pray in harmony, speaking words of consolation and blessing and hope. So together we'll pray the Chatzi Kaddish straight into the Baruch Hu, beginning on page 144. We'll rise as we are able. Please be seated. At the bottom of page 147, we'll read together. O God, you are near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthest star. We yearn to reach you, to see the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. We speak about darkness, and we speak about light, and that's what this next prayer on page 148 is all about. The Ma'ariv Arabim, rolling lightness into darkness, darkness into light. So we'll sing the words that we've sung before, starting with roll into dark, roll into light. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Ore yom v'layla, ore yom v'layla. Roll into dark. Roll into light. Night becomes day. Day turns to night. Day turns to night. Roll into dark. Roll into light. Night becomes day. Day turns to night. Ore yom v'layla. Ore yom v'layla. page 151. At the bottom of the page, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your words and the living language that gives it form? Together we'll read, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Amo Yisrael. We'll rise as we are able for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom levavecha v'shinatan levanecha v'dibarat halam v'shivtecha v'meitecha u'lechtecha b'derech u'shoftecha u'mekumecha u'shatam me'ot ayatecha ve'hayu totafot beinecha u'tatam al mizuzot beitecha u'yisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל צבאותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohechem, amen.
The English, please.
At the English at the bottom of page 154, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thou shalt remember to observe all my commandments, and to be holy to your God.